Hmm. Good question. Um, I would say it's a balance, and it goes back to some of what was said. And I think um, by Deanna, I think you mentioned this in terms of working closely with the business to figure out what exactly the problem is. Like, what problem are you trying to solve? um, Through the years, what I have found is the need to really zero in precisely on the problem we're trying to solve, as opposed to creating an innovative thing for the reason of creating an innovative thing. So through my career, I've had to think very creatively because, as you know, the whole data domain is still emerging. Like, it's still emerging. Things are changing every day. And to be able to enable some of the work in terms of really looking at future projections and enabling decision making and analysis around risk, one has to continue to be innovative to really get at some of those burning issues and burning questions. So my advice would be that whatever you're trying to do around creativity, innovation, anchor it around the gaps. Like, what gap are you trying to fill? What business need? What is the burning need you're trying to fill? Because that makes it a lot easier to continue to be innovative. The challenge I often see is when people come up with an idea, for example, that's not really tied to any specific business need or business gap, then it becomes a challenge to try to anchor it in something, especially in an industry, but basically in any organization that has to deal with several constraints. So we're in all these organizations that have to deal with constraints because we have to be accountable to numerous people. Like in the public service, we're accountable to Canadians. So in terms of what we're doing in terms of innovation, we have to make sure that it's ethical and we're not leaving anybody out in our processes around innovation, be it digital transformation, data transformation, looking at digitization. We always have to make sure that we're considering all the constraints as we build out. So my suggestion would be to always anchor it in the gaps. Like, what gap are you trying to fill? What is the business need you're trying to fill? And how connected is this to making things better for your clients, your customers, for Canadians? When you're in these organizations with these constraints, you need to go back to that default position. That is what I would suggest.